to the live NBA draft party of Down to Dunk. I am Luke, joined this evening by Andrew.
Wow, that was really, really something.
I gotta say, I'm just fired up to be here today. It's pretty cool, pretty damn cool. Oh!
Oh, slam through.
Taylor.
All right, boys, let's get this podcast on the roll. Let's get it on up now. Slam through.
And Jay.
It's Jay. Not sure I want to be here.
Boy, I don't know if I'm fired up to be here anymore.
So the 2021 NBA draft is almost in the books.
We did it.
Yep,
We did it. The Thunder shocked the world,
they did.
disappointed a fan base.
Disappointed the fan base.
There were
Rocked Twitter.
so many available options in
Yeah.
our imagination
Yeah.
for how this evening would go.
Yep.
And not in any one of those scenarios that had played through my mind numerous times did what happened tonight
Yep.
actually happen.
Yeah. Except for Lee Ellis. Lee Ellis this morning warned me live on No Dunks that they are going to take Josh Giddey at 6. So we can't say we were completely caught off guard. I even sent you guys a text earlier today that Giddey at 6 is a real thing.
You did.
So-
Here's the deal: is I'm actually number one. We are live outside at Fassler Hall.
ACTION. ACTION.
They're coming
Action.
for us.
There's a lot of action going
There's
on.
a lot going on
boys.
here, but here's the deal: is I'm actually not. If the Thunder were going to be left with the 6th pick and that was it,
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed in
Sure.
Josh Giddey. Like I get it. It makes total sense. He is a high potential pick. He's young,
Yeah.
a year younger than Cade Cunningham, who went number 1 overall. Like it doesn't bother me that he went 6. I think the thing is for Thunder fans is you feel such an immense pressure
Yeah.
to be something different. And a guy like Giddey, who I think has a ton of potential,
Mm-hmm.
isn't Evan Mobley, who we somehow convinced ourselves that Cleveland was just going to hand us the pick for like.
I thought we were trading up the whole day. I thought we were trading up.
Yeah. I thank you. Oh, by the way, we are at Fassler Hall.
Fassler Hall, and it has been awesome.
Oh my god,
been good.
unbelievable!
And if you were here and you came out to enjoy this evening with us, we just want to say thank you. And thank you to Lively Brewery, our
Yep.
good friend Nick, all of the people here at Fassler. Just an incredible night. I mean, 4,000 or 5,000 people showed up tonight.
40
No, and he missed hit 45,000.
45,000 people.
yeah.
So
No, it was great. As always, overwhelmed by the amount of people that were here.
it's awesome.
It was
Y'all are awesome.
It was great. Thanks so much if you were here. Thanks for being there. There are lots of people in the stream that were here, so thanks for coming to the show. Man, so,
Andrew, I need you to tell me about Giddey.
yeah, Josh Giddey is a really interesting prospect. He's 6'8". He was the primary point guard for the Adelaide 36ers this past season. He had lots of triple doubles. We know about triple doubles here in OKC.
Uh-huh. And they're worth
They're worth their weight in gold here. in
their
Oklahoma
weight in gold.
So to me, he's a guy at the NBA level that will play on the wing and can play a lot of minutes with this current iteration of the Thunder. And we've talked about like old age Thunder, new age Thunder so much. And part of me worried a little bit about that, about like saying that so much, because like, what if tonight they take Kuminga, Keon Johnson, and somebody else? Then it's like, okay, then what is going on? Like, what is old age versus new age Thunder? But tonight, they like cemented themselves in this, basically that they're only going to take like highly skilled players. Like that's what they're going to do. They're going to take players that know how to play the game. They're going to take guys that will fit into a system, and they're going to take guys that everybody can grab the ball off the rim, push, go find a shot for themselves, or go find a shot for others. And Josh Giddey is one of the best passers, period, in this draft. He can throw a lob pass with his offhand. He can, live dribble reads off a pick and roll. He can do lots of stuff. He's 6'8", and he can play many positions. He can play from the guard. He can play forward as he gets stronger. I mean, he's 6'8" now. He's 18 years old. Like he will likely get taller. Like guys usually get taller.
That's true.
So, I mean,
I
he
grew
could,
an inch at 21.
yeah, he could end up being like 6'10", a 6'10" like point forward type player, and who knows? But he's got high potential. This is by far the ballsiest pick that Sam has made in a long time.
Big balls.
I mean, it really is. I mean, it honestly is, because I think that he was going to be available probably at 8 or 9 in the draft, certainly at 10. And this is, if you're Memphis, this is why you don't make a trade days before the draft, because it was like, okay, Memphis is trading to 10 so they can take Josh Giddey. Yeah, and they took Zaire Williams.
I get it. Like, I get the disappointment in the sense of like just reading through some of the comments. I know that for you all, it would have been tight to get the next LeBron James at 6.
Yeah.
But if this is not that conversation, like, yeah, and the Thunder would have traded up or down had that been an option that would have made sense. But what it feels like happened is they had 6. They were stuck at 6.
Yeah.
And they thought, we want Josh Giddey. So if we move to 8 or 9, we're going to get Josh Giddey. Why not just draft him right here?
Yeah.
You know,
or perhaps there was also rumors that the Warriors really wanted him.
Sure.
So maybe they had intel that the Warriors were going to take him. We don't know.
Well, even if there was a shot and he was your guy, then just take him where he is.
Yeah.
Because you're splitting hairs at this point as far as draft evaluations. If you're comparing it to Book Night, or you're comparing it to, I mean, Kuminga is all upside.
Yeah.
Who else went around 8, 9? Franz Wagner. You've got Davion Mitchell went to the Kings, which is just a wild decision.
It's a weird one.
But it's like at that point, what did you want from the 6? That's the thing for me. The only thing I'm disappointed is I wanted more action. The 16th pick being swapped, where they let Şengün go to the Rockets and they got 2 future firsts. I think that's one that makes me go.
That's one that I know that Thunder Twitter is not happy about, and I get it, because I like Şengün quite a bit. And I think that if we're walking away from this draft with Giddey, Şengün, Trey Mann,
or Garuba, if you would have just, but yes, Trey Mann would have been the actual pick.
Just leave it at Trey Mann, because that's obviously who they had targeted there. I think everybody's feeling a lot better right now. I think that fans are tired of kicking the can down the road.
We're tired of more draft assets.
But the truth is, like, this draft is clearly not the draft for the Thunder. And the 22 draft or the 23 draft could be the draft for the Thunder. They acquired more assets tonight. They acquired 2 additional first-round picks out of this draft and are walking away with 2 guys that, like, Josh Giddey has a really high ceiling. Trey Mann, we can talk about him. I don't really get it with him, mostly because I don't know where he plays with this team. And I'm a firm believer that, like, you need minutes for guys in order for them to play. And he's so slight and so skinny that he's not somebody that can play lots of different positions. I get it as far as the fit goes with the Oklahoma City, what they're trying to build, and that, like, he can pass, he can shoot, he can dribble. Great. Like, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for guys that can do all those things, which is great, which is like a total heel turn from, like, the Andre Robertsons, Thabo Sefolosha's of the world that they drafted.
Josh
Huestis, where it was just like, okay, let's just find these, like, mega athletes that have crazy long arms and see if we can teach them how to play basketball. I mean, now, like, they have a team full of hoopers. I mean, they really do. And are these the right picks? I mean, I've been beating the drum that, listen, the draft order every year is wrong. Every single year. You can look at it, it's wrong. Now, the Thunder had to do the hard work, and I believe that they do the hard work. That's the thing that you have to, like, hang your hat on, is the Thunder do the hard work when it comes to scouting, when it comes to making decisions about the draft. They're not always right. Are they right about this? I don't know. I think that there will be draft grades that will be released tomorrow morning that say the Thunder did not have a good draft. And I think lots, like Thunder Twitter, would probably totally agree with that.
When was the last time that the Thunder actually got good draft grades, though? I mean, I think I was talking to Jay about this earlier. Like, when was the last Thunder draft where you walked away and you're like, wow, that was an awesome draft. Everything went the way that we hoped it would go.
Yeah.
When? Legitimately, when? I can think back all the way to 2013 and I can't pick
I mean, when
one.
they took Domas, like people were pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, sure. I just
They also
don't
haven't
remember
had
that.
they also haven't had high picks in the draft
Yeah,
in,
I mean, you
in, a
know more
long,
than me.
in a long time. I mean, they
Yeah.
haven't had this kind of opportunity in
Right.
front of them.
I
So
mean,
yeah, I mean, how many years though has it just? Last year was kind of an exception where it was like we kind of wanted them to take Poku, and we were
Yeah.
excited about it, and everybody knew that's what they wanted to do.
And the 16th pick was the first pick that they had in the first round. So what do you even expect with that?
Right, exactly. And then the year before they take Darius Baisley, where like it was a collective, who?
Yeah.
You know, like nobody knew who that was. He was from the USA.
Oh, that's
There's John Hamm. Oh my
John
gosh,
Hamm.
John Hamm.
Damn,
Special guest
he's
John Hamm.
wasted.
He is running and
He's
wasted.
naked. He's naked at Passler Hall.
Yeah, there's been a lot of confusing. This was the most confusing.
John Hamm being naked?
This
That's
was
the most confusing naked man I've ever seen run. No, this is one of the more confusing nights to watch the NBA draft unfold because it started with Giddey, where like you can't be completely surprised because it had been reported by one of the best reporters in the world, Ellis,
Yep.
on No Dunks. Like that, okay. Like I wasn't shocked. I was actually kind of excited. And then when you started to see the guys that were falling down to 16, that's when I started to get excited. I was like, don't trade the picks, just keep them. And you know, everybody's freaking out about, well, these are protected picks. You're not going to get 2 unprotected picks for the 16th pick in the draft. Like you're lucky to get 2 picks that could end up both being the 16th pick in the draft at some point.
I think part of it, though, Andrew, is for me at least, so many of Thunder fans had invested a lot in knowing the guys that are in that range.
I'll jump to the front of the line.
So you're watching Garuba and Şengün, and
Dude.
even Moses Moody was at 14 to the Warriors. Like
I know, man.
you have all of these guys that you're like, holy smokes, these are the guys that we thought, man, it'd be tight to get up and get them at 10, and they're sitting
it's
there.
one of my favorite ranges. Yeah.
And so, but instead we got 18 and Trey Mann and 2 picks in a draft that we have no idea what it's going to end up be. Because,
Yeah.
you know, if you looked at the protections of those between the Wizards and the Pistons, is it's 14 1 year, 12 1 year. You know, there's a chance it could be a 14, 13, 15, 16.
Definitely.
But at the same time, like Pistons, like you looked at their roster with, I think, Cade doing a lot to kind of complete what they're trying to do as far as a rebuild, or at least, I don't know, put the accelerator on that rebuild. Like I think that who knows what that pick's going to be, but I understand all of that. But I think for Thunder fans is number one is we're proving pretty quickly that we are not the most patient fan base, at least in this iteration of a rebuild in some sense. But at the same time, it's like Shea makes that all so complicated because you don't want him to be discontent. They're going to start working towards an extension at some point here in the next few weeks and all of that and you just want to know, like, what does that extension look like with Trey Mann and Josh Giddey as a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old, or you know,
that's what, like you have to question, like, does Trey Mann play on this team?
No.
Because they have Ty Jerome, they have Teo, they have Shea, they have Dort. Like there's not a lot of minutes there for him.
Well, I think what you were talking about earlier with Trey Mann, a guy who can dribble, pass, shoot, do everything. Like that's a guy that you might play over. Oh my God, over Ty Jerome.
Maybe.
Who, like, okay, Ty Jerome is a crazy good shooter, right?
Yeah,
but he
was
might
great.
not have the skill set that you want to move forward with. So let's throw Trey Mann into the mix and see if that's the guy who can take over those minutes.
It's just hard because this is the first time that Oklahoma City, as a professional basketball fan base, has to do this.
Yeah.
Before, when, you know, it was just like we have Kevin Durant, we have James Harden, we have Russell Westbrook, and now it's like we're starting completely over. This is the first year of our, you know, the first big draft that we have where we have all these assets, and this is the first year of a multi-year process.
It's also the first time as a fan base that we kind of expect the franchise to take flashy picks because of this position that we're in right now, like what you're talking about, Luke, which they just never have taken the flashy picks. It's just never been like that.
Yeah.
And so I think now we're saying, okay, well, this is different now. So let's take the let's take the scorers. Let's take the guys who have the names. Let's take these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's kind of confusing now because they're still picking with the same intention and thoughtfulness that they always have.
Yeah.
The other thing you're saying, can we play him when we have these 3 other guys? The Thunder, realistically, of those 4 guys with the million other picks that we have, only need 1 or 2 of those guys to be our guy.
Yeah.
And the rest will not be, because we have so many picks.
Yeah.
And so it's just hard to set. It's hard to get my head around, like, this is not the team that we're going to move forward with in the future.
Yeah.
And I think people treat the draft like we are going to get, 5 of the best players, and then we are back to where we were.
Exactly.
And that's not it.
Exactly. People got really excited for the fact that they could have had 1 and 5 and thought, and in their minds, it was the rebuild is over, right?
Yes.
And they didn't, and obviously the Thunder are very disappointed they didn't get that too. 1 and 5 was something that they obviously very much wanted. Any franchise would want that, like, duh. But the fact that they got 6, so now what they did is they said, okay, who's going to be there that we realistically believe will not only have a really high ceiling, but also will fit the current iteration of the Thunder that we want to create? And Josh Giddey, checks all the boxes, right? He's one of the younger guys in the draft. He's 18 years old. He has elite court vision. He can play multiple positions. He's not a crazy athlete. He's not a great shooter yet. I think he could end up being a good shooter in the NBA, but he's got a high ceiling. If he works out, he's going to be a very, very good pro, and he's going to be very versatile.
Yeah, I think you guys are alluding to this too, but the failure is the lottery. The Thunder had some things that they could have done and some things that didn't go their way.
Yeah.
That changed the entire fortune of this draft.
Sure.
That's at least something we need to acknowledge. One more loss, a coin flip that doesn't go their way.
Yeah.
Or goes their way, excuse me. It's funny. It goes their way in one sense, but went against them in the actual lottery. If those things don't happen, then all of a sudden, you can look at the Boston game, you can look at the Clippers game, whatever it is, that changed the entire direction of this evening.
Mm-hmm.
And the Thunder fans, as they always do, are really good at looking at things that are so frustrating and saying, all right, we're going to get Scotty Barnes. We left that evening thinking,
okay,
yeah, Scotty Barnes. Okay, I believe in that,
Talk myself
And
into
so as soon as you start realizing it's actually a 4-person draft, maybe 5. And then on top of that, I will say this, the biggest frustration for me is I was watching Jalen Suggs go to number 5, and you're
doubt.
oh my gosh, how can they just switch one position?
One pick
Yeah.
away.
But the other thing that we all have to remember is to get a higher draft pick, you have to have a second team that is interested in giving you their pick.
Yeah.
And the Magic were Jalen Suggs? Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you have to have a team that
course.
thinks the player that you think is good is not good enough for that pick. And how
Yeah.
often does that happen? Especially in this draft where it seemed pretty obvious who the best players were.
Or
Yeah.
or your trade assets. What are you going to trade to Orlando that's going to be better than the Jalen Suggs number 5 pick? Hey, we'll give you a protected 2024 pick, or we'll give you the Clippers pick from next year, or whatever. None of those are anything that's going to make somebody go, yeah, that's equal value comparatively.
Yeah.
You know what's scary to me is I think about how people talked about Danny Ainge and the Celtics. What was it, 2 seasons ago, with all their picks, and they said, okay, we have Jason Tatum, we have Jaylen Brown, and we have all these picks. Wow, watch Danny Ainge work and build this team and build them up to be something that's a championship level contender. And it's kind of scary to now be that team that people talk about that way. And then you go through a draft where, damn, maybe you thought they could trade up, use some of those picks to trade up and get one of those players, and they don't. And you talk yourself into, maybe not talk yourself into, but sort of with Josh Giddey and think about the future. And then there is that scary thing that's in the back of my mind about everything of there seems to be a lot of opportunity here with the amount of assets that Presti has, and I hope that it can work out.
Well, just remember that, Danny Ainge drafted Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
If Josh Giddey becomes as good as one of those guys, and then they draft somebody that's as good as the other one of those guys, you're a
Well,
great.
Shea
you're
is one of those guys.
Well, I'm just saying, but no. The thing is that you want to add those two to Shea.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Like
right.
that's the plan. And the thing about this is this was never going to be a short process. I will point everybody back to the Oklahoma article that Sam Presti wrote. Like he never said this will take a very short amount of time and it'll be very easy to follow this team. He said it was going to be a slow and painful process.
Yeah.
Like
That
it's
is correct.
Aaron Wiggins to the Thunder at 55. Very interesting. He was here in Oklahoma City. Went out to dinner with them the other night.
You did?
Not with me. No.
Yeah, I was there. I forgot my wallet.
Yeah.
He paid.
Is he related to Andrew
Wiggins paid.
It's slow and it's painful and it is not something like we have to hit on one of these drafts, and it was with the 6th pick. It was not this draft.
Yeah.
And it's just hard and a slow process. And so now, what I do think is that I don't think with these additions, it's not like we are, back in contention next year. We're back in the playoffs. It's nothing.
They
like
don't want to
that.
be.
We do not want to be.
Yeah, you shouldn't want to be.
We are
yet.
going to be right back
time
here at Fassler Hall next year, hopefully with better picks.
Yeah.
With great players that our fan base hopefully will fall in love with.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
we'll have that.
Look at what the Grizzlies just did. They just traded a hyper productive player
Mm-hmm.
with Ja Morant for their future. Right? It was a slow play, it was a smart play, it was a long play.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe the team we need to look at more than the
Are you
way
talking
that
about
we
Jonas?
think
Or are
about
you
it.
talking about?
Yeah, Valanciunas.
Valanciunas. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what the Thunder are going to do with Kemba Walker. There's lots of rumors that he'll be gone before the season starts, but I think they would like to have him gone. I would like to have him gone so that they can have like a true season where they win like 18 games this year and are in like the bottom 3. And that way you don't have the ability to fall as far as they did. And I don't know if you can do that with Shea or not. I think playing like just the young guys, period. And right now they don't have any centers on their roster. I still would not worry about that at all because maybe they don't play with any big men this year. And if they don't,
That would be awesome.
who cares? Like you
Yeah.
got to stop caring about that stuff. If you're worried about like roster construction, like the Thunder's main goal is to select the players they think are best and then to develop them and make them the best versions of themselves. Like that's going to be their job this next year. It's not going to be about winning basketball games. It's going to be about team building. It's going to be about development. It's going to be about getting better every day. You're going to hear the same stuff that we've heard all last year, where it's the 0-0 mentality after every single game. They get trounced by 40 points by a team. Like they're going to keep pushing the 0-0. How long they can hold on to that message, like I don't know, but that's just a fact. Like that's where we're headed, and that's where this has been heading. Even if they had gotten Evan Mobley tonight, if they had traded a boatload of assets to get Evan Mobley, they were still headed for a similar type of season. This draft was not going to fix everything for them. And it's okay to feel disappointed about what happened tonight, because after spending and investing so much time in like figuring out who these guys are, and then the Thunder having completely different evaluations of them, I tried to reiterate that. Like, we don't know their evaluations. We don't know what their big board looks like. We don't know what it looks vastly different than everybody else's. It looks vastly different than all of the guys that are doing these big boards. And I just have to remember that we don't know. And everybody thought they knew heading into this. I mean, you log into Twitter this morning, you would think that James Bouknight was going to be on the team. You would think he was already on the team.
Yeah.
If all you did was log in and look and be like, oh, who's on the Thunder? It looks like James Bouknight's on the Thunder.
Yeah, my dreams came true.
You know? And your dreams just got dashed. Tayshaun?
Nightmare.
And it's
Giddy
just
up on a nightmare.
and it's just what we got to get used to, and this is what it's
Yeah.
going to be like, and that's just. I'm not bummed about this because it's just you guys walk in with the expectation of this is draft one,
Yeah.
of a years long process.
Yeah, it is.
And so, because
Absolutely.
I even have to think it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Because even after we got even in the past when we got a number 2 pick, we had Kevin Durant. We were still after that bad enough to then get the picks where we got James Harden, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
So even if we got the best, 1 in 5, it's not boom, we're on the road again now back. We're still several years away. And
Yeah.
now in this one, no, we are several years away.
That is so wise and mature of you.
That was like,
Thank
this
you.
is like best version of L-Man that I've maybe ever
It's
heard.
unbelievable. You need to
This is so
have
good.
like 2 or 3 beers before the fry pot on.
Yeah, I
in the
agree.
morning.
I'm going to try to get some TQs. If you are on the stream, send us some questions on Twitter. Just reply to the tweet that I just sent out. Trey Mann just tweeted 51 minutes ago, OKC! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Let's get to work. Hashtag Thunder Up.
Let's get to work.
It'll be a fun summer league.
Also, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, our second round pick who we haven't talked about, ready to get to work.
I have a lot to say. about him.
Hashtag Thunder Up. Okay, so how will Chris Fisher say Jeremiah Robinson Earl's name? Do we believe that he will stick to his guns with the Shagilgis Alexander?
He'll say Jeremiah Rob Inson Earl.
Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
Jeremiah Robinson. Jeremiah
Earl.
Robinson.
I think that's correct. Hey, Jay, thanks for pouring me one of those.
Jeremiah
so
Robinson.
That was
Earl.
also a surprise, and it continues with the tradition. And Michele, if you're listening, you can identify with this. Michele and I work really hard to create a show about all the draft prospects that we can every year, and we try to pick out the right guys. And every single year, without fail, the Thunder takes somebody in the top 40 that we don't cover. And Jeremiah Robinson Earl continues that tradition.
Oh, they're so good at that, aren't they?
They're very good at it. So he's an interesting forward. It's all about the shooting with him. Can he shoot it? I don't know. Like, he's a multi-tool defender, not the greatest athlete. It's wild. This is the start, like 2 years in a row, where the Thunder take guys in the draft that aren't great athletes. And they didn't take a great athlete in this draft, which is just really interesting. It's just,
I would say this though.
We've been burned before.
we've been burned in the past.
Was SGA considered a great athlete in his draft?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I just think like that kind of that
Which-
judgment of a player is just very strange at this point.
Well, it's
because
Well, it's comparative, right? It's like the quick twitch athleticism that like Russ has.
yeah,
is-
but like okay, so look at Russ. How effective is he? I mean, he puts up stats, but like
wow.
I'm just saying. man.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's effective. I love.
Laker.
By
we got
the
a
way,
Laker hater over here.
no. I was about to say Russ on the Lakers is my favorite thing. We've already talked about this. That is amazing.
Have we talked about this?
I don't think you were there.
Oh,
At the
yeah.
podcast.
Where's it on? Oh, well, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You guys want to go some Twitter questions real quick?
Yeah, let's do some rapid fire. They're shutting the bar down here.
Yeah, what's
so.
your favorite cookie?
All right, this is from at Dortpoy. Is Lee Ellis the only one we should trust from now on? He's the only one that knew, so yes. Real Branxo says the year is 2028, and Sam Presti is still trading draft picks for more draft picks. Shea is now 30 and excited about the rebuild.
We're having this exact same podcast.
Yes. Tonight was very fun. I'll say
It
that.
was fun.
Tonight was
great
very
time.
fun. I would like to do this night again.
Guess
If
what?
I could rewind and do it again, I would.
Really?
Wow.
Would you
Ah.
not?
No regrets.
Yeah, no regrets.
No regrets.
I'll do this again next year.
Yeah, let's do it again next
Yeah.
year. Game of Thunder 7. How good is the 2022 class? I've heard it's very good. I don't know that much about it. We honestly won't know that much about it until the end of the college season.
Can you just go ahead and give us a quick 25, 30 player big board?
Yeah. Give me your 2022 big board. No.
It's time.
Let's see. D Nasty with the A as a 4. Is it fair to question the way the assets were handled tonight? The 2 first from pick 16 will likely end up as seconds. We
I
don't
think
know.
that's quite a jump to make, actually.
Yeah,
Like we don't know that.
that's quite an assumption.
The
Also-
protections feel like they're going to land.
they'll land, and also they may not have those picks after. They may trade them next draft. They may trade them next year. We don't know. Like this
They
is
may
just more
trade
ammo.
them for more picks.
They may trade them for 50 picks. Who knows? You can't. Everybody's so caught up in that. Like, I don't like the protections on these picks. Dude's like, chill out. They don't turn into 2 seconds for a while.
Yeah.
So we can't get caught up. We don't know what these teams are going to be. So I don't like that. And then using 34 and 36 to only move up to 32. One thing about that, we don't know what's available. Does it feel like that wasn't enough value? I kind of agree that it didn't feel like it was enough value. I think like those 2 picks are pretty valuable and perhaps valuable enough to trade up into the first round. Clearly they weren't. And maybe, obviously they had targeted Jeremiah Robinson Earl and decided that was their guy. And they took him. And do I know a lot about him? I don't. I did. McKellen, he was the guy.
Villanova. Went to Villanova.
He did. Went to school at Villanova.
Power forward.
Power forward.
Yeah.
PF
Toolsy.
4
It's a little toolsy.
multi-tool.
But yeah, don't. Man, I don't know. We can't. It does feel that way. I think it is safe. I think it is fair to question it. Absolutely, it's fair to question it. But it's just really hard when we don't know exactly what was available to question it. But I understand questioning
Are you
it.
saying it requires context to have a nuanced conversation about
Yes,
something?
probably so.
Okay. Get over yourself, kids.
Creamer Nathan, which I just want to say Creamer Nation, says,
Oh, do you?
how many Steins did each of you drink? It's an urgent TQ. Elman?
I had the Lively Lights.
Yeah.
And I had 2, and then I that's about it.
I always thought they were Steens.
All right. John _ Mitchell 3 says, do you think Sam has watched a college game in the past 5 years? Because it seems like he hates college basketball. Oh, man. Of course he has.
He loves Australian basketball.
You might
if you want to really, if you love the sport, you watch Australian, Lithuanian
Yeah.
basketball.
He also loves corporate interns.
Yeah. So you also have to recognize that the Trey Mann pick, like the Thunder link to the Florida program is like, that's a real thing, right? Like they know that's where their coaches, their last 2 coaches have come from, is from Florida. And so they have a lot of information on Trey Mann, and I'm sure that he watched the college basketball games. Let's see. Parker.
Do you think this is
go
a
ahead.
Juana Man situation where
No. I
it's
don't.
actually, it might not actually be him, and it might be someone pretending to be him,
No.
Who?
a female?
But what do you mean? Who?
Pretending to be who?
Juana Man. That was where a man
You're
pretended
talking
to be
about Trey
a
Mann?
Yeah, but Juana Man,
Hmm.
where a man pretended to be a female basketball player. Maybe this is actually, you never know. I'll have to look into this.
I think you could know.
Investigate. Parker E.
Future deep dive.
It's a future deep dive for Elman's online deep dive. On a scale of 1 to 10, how upset are you that we didn't get Vrens, aka Poor Man's Poku? Did he get selected? Do we know?
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, I don't think he's been selected. Still a chance to bring him in as an undrafted player. I wish him the best. At Luke _ Mansky, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Zach Voberanik asks, why do we pass on Şengün? It's a great question. I would have really been excited if they drafted Şengün. I think he's got a high ceiling as a player too. The simple answer is they obviously didn't like him, and they liked the value of having those 2 future picks more. I mean, that's like the simple answer, right? Again, we don't know about the evaluations of these players. Şengün will struggle to play defense, and maybe that's something the Thunder weren't interested in at the big man position.
Classic Houston ball.
Hey, Houston had quite the draft. They had quite the
They
draft.
did.
They had
Okay.
Garuba and Şengün, which if the Thunder got that combination at 16 and 18, I would have, and they had the opportunity to, I would have been very
You
excited
would have
about that.
Garuba your Şengün.
And then,
It's great content.
thank you. And then Jalen Green at 2. Like they had a great draft. It was, very different than Thunder's draft. From the perspective of studying the players and from the perspective of reading everybody that we've read. They had a very good draft. So will it work out? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, Jaden Galvin says, you don't know the pain it was to watch Şengün wear the Thunder hat and not have him on the team. I know. That was brutal. Let's see. At Brian Nix, who was here tonight, thanks for coming to the party. He says, Woj just said he expects Kemba to be moved before the season. What teams have a decent 5 but need a vet wing?
Sixers.
Yeah, the Sixers definitely need him.
You think they give us Embiid?
You think that Joel Embiid's available for Kemba
I
Walker?
do wonder, obviously that's not real, but
Yeah.
I do wonder what does the Thunder do in free agency? Obviously not going to spend a ton of money, but
Not much.
they still have to fill out a roster. Or do you just pick up guys off the scrap?
You don't
sheet?
think that? I mean, they have enough.
Don't they have
players.
like 23
They
guys?
have enough players.
Yeah.
I just keep buying into this idea that you need a center, but apparently not.
What for? Would be my question.
Play Ty Jerome at center.
Jay,
Just play your favorite player, Isaiah Roby, at center.
Jay,
Is he still on the team?
here's here's the plan.
Bring back Moose.
Here's the plan on media
I
day.
can't imagine he'd want to do that, but then again,
Jay,
What?
you need to buy your own Thunder jersey,
okay.
Smith on the back, 6'9". Go to media day, and just say I'm just
gonna go ahead and try
participate.
All right, I got you.
Participate. Be
Yeah.
like I'm
Sorry,
I'm
I'm
the
not
center.
here to interview. I'm actually here to
I'm the 5.
give an interview.
Yeah, I'm actually yes. You interview me. I'm on the team,
Literally, Ty Jerome is tall.
Somebody asked me a question.
and then we're set.
Yeah, I mean, it's somebody asks, let's see, who is this? At Evo_Cloud asks, what was more disappointing, the lottery or the draft?
Lottery.
Lottery.
Yeah, the lottery was brutal. At 405 fans, Sam went from drafting no skill to drafting no athleticism. Is there not need for some of both?
I mean, I think that's probably a leap. I mean, Giddey's not Kuminga as far as athleticism or Jalen Green, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. And this roster still in construction is the thing that we always have to continue to remember, but
Definitely.
it definitely feels different.
We have Poku. What more athleticism do you need on the team?
It's a skill game. That's the way that it is. Unless you're elite like Giannis, it's a skill game. Like that's what it is. So get as many guys that can do as many things as possible. And I think there's still the reality, and maybe Poku or Giddey can develop into one of these guys that the only true building block that they have right now is Shea. Truly.
And that's scary because you have him.
Yeah.
You want to keep him. And that's why I think this week everyone was just freaking out about oh my gosh, we're trading it. We're out him and a pick for one. We're trading him. Why are we trading away the one thing we know we have?
I know. People are freaking.
And it's just scary.
Hey, John Hamm.
It is just scary because that timeline stuff is real, I think, with him.
It is. It is. And
Bye, John.
money will talk with him.
Yeah.
He will sign the extension. Everybody will chill out a little bit. But perhaps they do trade him at the draft next year.
And up.
I mean, it's possible.
Now everyone hates Andrew.
Oh, sorry, everybody. Let's see. At Will Hendrickson says, why should we ever listen to the draft scuttlebutt again? I feel betrayed by the scuttlebutt. Here's the thing.
Scuttlebutt is just that. Scuttlebutt.
Yeah, you will,
Could be something, could be nothing.
you will be betrayed by scuttlebutt the rest of your life.
That you cannot live and die by the scuttlebutt.
That's exactly right. L-Man is the wisest L-Man that we
You're
have
so
heard in
wise
so
tonight. It's
long. This
I'm
is
just
so
saying.
good.
I have a lot of I'm at the height of my wisdom on Thursday night.
Yeah,
Friday
you are.
morning, no wisdom.
it's true. I agree. Does Giddy start from day one at full court Presti? I think he should. I don't see why not. Start him at the 3, start Poku at the 4, start Roby at the 5.
Let me ask you guys something right now.
Yeah.
Do you already like Giddy better than Baisley?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I think I do too.
I do
Oh,
too.
yeah.
And I didn't even really want to draft Giddy.
Yep.
We're like giddy up,
Nice.
Cowboy.
You have really
Cowboy.
missed.
Par-
you have really missed some podcasts, Luke.
Partner.
Oh, Joel Ayayi signs with the Lakers. Oh, two-way deals are trickling out right now.
Oh, nice.
Let's see.
Let me get 2-way.
All right. Anything else? You guys got anything else before we go? Anything you need to get off your chest?
Maybe like Luke. Do you have any wise, advice?
I'll say this: the truly wise man doesn't say he's wise. He just is.
That's wisdom.